Okay, in this video I'm going to explain how and why I made this, a catch-all bowl. And I'm going to explain all the BS I had to go through to learn how to make this. And it all starts with my cousin, who's a tax guy. Here he looks like a doctor because I'm reusing old assets. He gives me a discount, and in return I send him a thank you gift. And one year, he was doing my taxes and he told me, hey, you made a lot of money relative to the no money you usually make. Congrats. But all the money you just made, you can't keep it. You either have to give it to the government or buy something for the business. I assumed I could keep the money, but I couldn't. So I bought this CNC machine thinking I would be able to make some cool projects and make a lot of money off of it. The issue was I did no research and I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. I'm a laser guy and not a CNC guy. So this has been sitting here for like 5 years collecting dust. One, from the fact I don't use it, and two, because I should probably clean my garage more. And so I thought, oh, this would be a great opportunity for me to make him a gift on the CNC. That way I can learn this damn machine. And after doing some research, I found that a good beginner project on the CNC is to make a wooden catch-all tray or a catch-all bowl. And I thought, oh, I should be able to do this. But being an artist, I thought, oh, I should make this more complicated than it needs to. So instead of keeping it simple like this, I thought I should add some designs inside of it. And most people would generally do inlays. But I don't have the skill set or the knowledge on the CNC to do inlays on the CNC. So I thought, oh, what if I do inlays on the laser engraver and just glue it inside? I'm like, that can't be that hard. Which actually wasn't that hard. But this next part is where I messed up. I thought, oh, to take the project even further, I should do designs on the sides of the trays or the bowls, because no one's doing that. And it ends up looking like something like this. And figuring out how to do this almost broke me and almost made me give up on this project. So the first step in this process is to model out the catch-all bowl. And I went to school for 3D modeling, and I learned how to 3D model in Maya, Autodesk Maya, which is more organic or loosey-goosey. Like, imagine like an artist modeling, so nothing needs to be exact. It's kind of just go with the flow. It's no big deal. But then I had to model the bowl in Autodesk Fusion 360. And I assumed they'd be similar type of modeling, but it's not. While this is loosey-goosey, this, everything needs to be exact. Because imagine if this is made for engineers, where they want to know exactly it's 2 millimeters, 5 millimeters, blah, blah, blah apart. So I had to spend a couple weeks learning how to model this out. So why did I model my catch-all bowl in Fusion 360? Because Fusion 360 has a thing called CAM. CAM is basically telling this machine where to go and what to cut and how to cut it. So basically turning this into this. And the way it does is you have to tell it, hey, I'm using this bit, it's this big, this wide, this many flutes, etc., and give it something called feeds and speeds. And when I was first starting off, I didn't want to learn feeds and speeds because I thought it was going to be very difficult to do. So I was half-assing this, and that's one of the reasons why I was messing up a lot, and I was breaking a lot of bits. Because these expensive bits, they come with feeds and speeds already, which is great. But they're guidelines, meaning the feeds and speeds for this wood bit might work on this wood, but we'll struggle on this wood, or we'll struggle on this wood because this might be a softer wood, and this is maybe 10 times harder. So if I can go 100 inches on this one, I may not be able to go 100 inches on this one. If I do 100 inches on this one, the bit will break. So I broke a lot of expensive bits because I was an idiot and I didn't want to take the time to learn feeds and speeds. So eventually, I learned feeds and speeds. This is what the CAM software looks like. And I had to learn all this, and I'm still learning all this. And basically, you tell the software, this is the material, how big it is, how wide it is. This is the thing I'm making. and please do these operations using whatever bits you need. And it'll tell you stuff like, oh, this is the blue lines, this is what the bit's gonna do. And please understand how little of this I understand. I probably understand about 5% of this, even less. And because of that, this is gonna lead to many, many mistakes. Okay, here is an attempt I made at making the bowl. This is attempt like 37 or so. As you can see, a lot of mistakes. So with this one, I learned a lot and still know so little. I'm going to fast forward through this and explain why I'm doing things and mistakes I learned. First, here I'm clamping the piece of wood down. You clamp material down because the bit has enough force to move the material and you don't want that to happen. These clamps I'm putting down are good clamps, but they're not good enough to hold this piece down. This piece of wood is going to fly off the table, but that's later in this video. I marked the center of the material so I know where to center the bit. I need to do this because I told the software, hey, I'll be starting at the center of the material. So if I move that bit anywhere else, it's going to mess up the material. You need to also tell the machine the height of the bit. I broke a lot of bits because I forgot to tell the machine the height, and it assumed that the bit was a different length and it would plunge into material and mess it up, as seen here. So everything is going to go fine, and we're going to go fast forward a bit. And right about here, the force of the bit rips the material from the CNC. Anyway, a lesson here is clamping matters. Also, I was lucky enough my car wasn't parked right there and I didn't get hit. And if everything works out fine, there's no mistakes, this is what it looks like coming out the CNC. But this is design number 4 or 5. And it started off with this bowl. A lot smaller and had a lip on here because I thought it'd look cool to have a lip. And the problem with this one is the lip. And it's too deep and it's too small because your cell phone can't fit in this. So decided to make it bigger, which leads to this version. It's bigger, got rid of the lip, and the problem with this one is not deep enough. So decided to make it deeper, which leads to this one, which is the almost final version. The lip's gone, it's smoother. And the problem with this one is this design here, this is made so you could put your laser artwork inside of it. And originally I thought I would use veneer, which is very thin pieces of wood. And the issue I realized was, as I'm gluing the artwork inside of it, you have to sand it down. If you're sanding it down, there's a huge chance of you sanding through the veneer. So I decided I need to make this part deeper, which leads to the final version. So now that it's deeper, I can use thicker pieces of wood inside of it and not worry about sanding through it as much. Next step is the artwork. And since I want to do Wheel of Time, I tried looking online for this cover, a high resolution version of this cover, but I couldn't find any. So I basically ended up taking my old books and buying the rest of the series and scanning them in the scanner. I then took all my high resolution scans of the book covers and I uploaded them to Internet Archive so everyone can have them now. Okay, somebody finally remembered he can screen grab his screen instead of sticking the camera to record it. Okay, this is what the Wheel of Time artwork looks like after it's done being processed. So the way I got here was you take the artwork, for example, and you decide what you want each part of the artwork to be. Like I want this to be walnut, this to be cherry, this to be maple. After you decide that, I've realized that a lot of artwork isn't made to be laser engraved, so you have to process it. And I've come to the conclusion that redrawing, most of the time, redrawing the entire artwork works the best. And I'll add shadows, I'll add highlights, and et cetera, et cetera. And I find that's the best way to get the best results. Okay, once you've done that, you have to basically create vector lines. Because this right here, this is what you're telling the laser to engrave or to draw. This is telling the laser what to cut. So then you have to combine it together. So this part cuts walnut, this part cuts maple, and this part cuts cherry, or wherever it may be. This is a lot of work. It is. There's no simple solution to this. This is just a lot of work. And once you've done this, this leads to all this. Like this. This is cherry. This is blood heart. This is purple heart. This is maple. And this is, no, it's not maple. This is walnut. This is maple. And this is wenge. And all these will basically combine together to make the artwork again. And this right here is the sides. It's the wheel and the snake and the dragon symbol. Now, one of the more time-consuming parts. Since I wanted each part to be a separate species of wood, I have to basically engrave and cut out each of the parts on the different types of wood. Here is the walnut part being engraved and cut out. Okay, here are the settings I use for cutting and engraving. It's a Fusion Edge 60 watt epilogue laser. It most likely won't help you on your laser since lasers are different, but in case it does help, here are the settings. Okay, so normally before I start gluing everything up, I do a dry fit to see what's missing, what the issues are. Like right here, I'm missing the face. And right there, I noticed that the arm and the head blend in together, so I should redo that to separate them. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Here, I'm just gluing the pieces together inside the bowl. Nothing really fancy here, just standard wood glue. And basically, I created a puzzle. Now I'm putting the puzzle back together. Just time consuming. I normally throw on a podcast and just go through it. Next step is the details on the side and all the hurdles I had to go to figure out how to get this done. So the first idea I had was to get the details on the side was to use my 4th axis CNC, which is basically this spins. So if I put this here, this would spin. And the idea was, I'll have the bit, just do the designs on top. But the issue I ran into was this bowl is too big. And if I tried running it, it would hit this sensor right here. And if this machine hits this sensor, it goes, hey, you've gone too high. I can't run anymore. So this was a failure. Next thing was, after months of thinking on it, I realized, or I remembered, I have a laser rotary system. This basically is like the 4th axis machine. It will spin the bowl and the laser will engrave it. And I'm like, cool, I got it. But then I ran into a problem where this also was too big to fit in this. And then I was stuck again. But after a few more weeks, I realized, if I remove this bed, I will have enough clearance to laser engrave the sides. I'm like, great, I got this now. And I thought, I got it. We're in the clear. All I have to do is stick this in here, laser engraver, we're good to go. Unfortunately, this type of rotary is generally meant for like cups or like Stanley cups, something long like this, right? And unfortunately, this bowl was not wide enough. So whenever I stick it in here, it would just fall over and it wouldn't spin correctly. So this, and I had to go, okay, now how do I fix this problem? Which led me to, I'll just 3D print some parts. And I can, now it's wide enough. I can stick this in there and we're good to go. And this actually kind of worked out right here. I think we have right here. Yeah, see, it actually did work out. Unfortunately, I could not get it to consistently make a straight line. This could be my issue, it could be the machine issue, it could be the fact that this is all types of janky. So I basically, after weeks of this, I gave up on this. And I was stuck again. I didn't know what to do. After those ideas failed, I decided on an idea I kind of had, but I wasn't quite sure how to make it work, which was getting veneer, which is very thin wood, and just engraving on here and then bending it all the way across. since the wood is so thin, it would bend relatively easily. So my first thought was, after engraving it like this, I would just add some glue and clamp it like that. Issue with this is, if you notice, this part doesn't go all the way to the bottom. So when you clamp it, you can only clamp the top, which means you can only clamp this top, which means this top part's fine, this bottom part doesn't get glued correctly. As I was editing this video, I realized this next part gets pretty boring because it's just me rambling on and on and on about clamps and jigs and why they work and why they fail and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I'm just going to fast forward through this and get to the part where we get to the clamp that actually works. And the final solution was, ironically, after gluing it up, of course, that you're seeing right here, was rubber bands. See, the rubber bands actually had enough force, with enough rubber bands, of course, that it would hold the wood piece together. And then I can slowly align it up, and then with the duct clamps, I think that's what they're called, I was able to tighten up one bottom part, and which held everything together, and then I could tighten up the top part. So all this complex stuff, the solution was rubber bands the entire time. So then you sand it, and then you apply the varnish. And the thing with the varnish is that it looks super cool when you apply it. It looks all shiny and everything. It never turns out that shiny on one coat because it has to dry. So you'll see all these videos, oh wow, I wonder what varnish you're using. It generally doesn't matter. So you have to apply multiple coats, sand it really high grit to get the shine. I personally don't like the shine, so I keep it more of a matte glaze. And here it is, the final version. Overall, I love the way it turned out. There's little issues here like that sanding right there. I sanded too far. But smooth finish. Sides actually turned out nice. It's a little waviness here I need to figure out, but you know, no project's perfect. Overall, love the way it turned out.